Welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World, interview from Vilnius. Pavel Durov's arrest has shaken the society. That is not surprising, in fact, because the number of Telegram users worldwide is about 1 billion people. To discuss this specific case and what impact can it have on the course of war in Ukraine, we are joined today by the former Special Operations Forces officer and defense and security expert, Aurimas Navys. Hello, Aurimas, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
So, first of all, what's your take on Pavel Durov's arrest?
If you look at the bigger picture, you will see that red lines were crossed on the ground. And what I mean is by Kursk operation. Ukrainians planned operation, secretly crossed the border of Russian Federation. And Moscow, before that, every time was saying that we will use nuclear weapons. Nothing happened. That was, of course, bluff, blackmail, but nothing happened. So the next thing, we have Durov's arrest. And
how is that linked?
And that is on the political level, a blow to Kremlin regime again.
It is.
Because Durov actually is a Russian citizen. So, and not the ordinary citizen of Russian Federation.
Sure.
So the arrest of a person or citizen of such a caliber, in Moscow's view, should have been somehow coordinated with Moscow, with regime, with Putin, with Lavrov, whatever, but it was not done. So again, France or I don't know, West, we can say.
Let's put it West.
West once again crossed that imaginary red line, but not on the ground.
Once again.
But on political level. And Durov's arrest was, I could say, the least, the thing that Kremlin regime expected the least.
Pavel Durov left Russia in 2014. And after that, he visited Russia more than once. And I guess it's, well, someone already counted, that was about more than 50 times, right?
In the period of 10 years, right.
Exactly. It's more of a guess and speculation, but is there a possibility that Pavel Durov could be Kremlin's agent?
You know, that's a tough question, because I could mirror that question and ask you if Navalny was Kremlin's agent.
Brilliant question, brilliant question.
But to explain to our viewers, it's not every person who is close to Kremlin or has some ties with Kremlin is necessarily an agent per se. So what I believe, Pavel Durov actually is a face of so-called, let's do some kind of alternative to Meta, to Facebook, or to WhatsApp, or to Signal. That was written and programmed not by Durov or not by his brother. I don't think it's just a game, but by special agents that work, or maybe there are some people who were just hired by possibly special services in Kremlin. So he is acting as a face for like a creator or CEO of Telegram and of Kontakte. It's alternative to Facebook.
VK, that's right.
So, but I really don't think that he actually is an agent. Pavel Durov, to my opinion and to my belief, he is actually not in the ranks of special services in Russia. And intelligence agencies and special services in Russia, like SVR, they, of course, would use and I believe uses Pavel or used Pavel Durov and his contacts for whatever purposes they have. So, but if Pavel Durov was an agent or is an agent, acting per se as agent, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, you've already explained why was such a reaction from Kremlin's, but why is this reaction to Pavel Durov's arrest so important? What does it show us?
It shows us that Kremlin again lost the ground, and of course, dictator or Führer Putin, he imagines that he is a world, or Russian Federation is a world power, that other, let's say, political poles or political big, I don't know, kind of conjunctions should consult or should take care of, or no, somehow to coordinate with Kremlin their moves, and we see now that it is not happening.
By the way, is there anything that we don't see, so-called outside the box in this Kremlin's reaction?
I think there are, as you said as well, there are many things that we do not see, and I believe we will see in after some time. But I think in a kind of political structures in Kremlin, in the regime, I think there is much turmoil is going on. And I believe...
In Kremlin's corridors.
Exactly. And I believe in I guess, in the nearest future, we could see some changes in our political structure.
You think so?
Of course. I'm not saying or talking about change of Putin, but some people or some positions, let's say officers of special services or senior officers of special services that occupy those positions, I think will be changed.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. It will be interesting to watch and analyze. So we've already discovered that this Pavel Durov's arrest is really painful to Kremlin. Could you add anything else? Why is it so painful to Kremlin?
Of course, we can speculate about, that Durov could, reveal secret codes to intelligence of Western countries, or he could, share special content of Telegram channels or special profiles. But of course, that is a possibility. But I don't think that
Well, we'll probably never know. We'll never discover that.
Yeah, maybe in the future, but I don't think it could make such a huge impact on Kremlin or on Ukraine military. Of course, I understand the France take on Durovs because that's officially said they want to somehow fight with cyber criminals, with drug cartels and all those things.
Yes.
So that's also a very important side of this. We should not forget that.
Okay. So, let's move on to Telegram itself. So both the Ukrainian and the Russian sides use Telegram for intelligence gathering and as a means of secure communication between troops and military units. So let's presume that Pavel Durov was really cooperating with Russian intelligence services. And how would you explain then Russian armed forces' very mediocre success on the battlefield?
Okay, thank you for this question. What is actually a secret in the military sphere?
Well, you tell me.
If we take tactical operations, kind of some secret details are just not as the content of it, but more of those, the time. So it's very time sensitive.
I hope you're telling me now
No.
the information that I can literally show my viewers, right?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
So the secrecy is not so much in the content of operations, but in the imminent execution.
Okay.
So now imagine there is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of channels in Telegram. They are coded, they are codenamed. Usually Ukrainian forces that I know, they use Telegram on the very low tactical level, like squad or section, platoon maybe. Of course, in the beginning of the invasion, it was at the battalion level or brigade level, but it was 2 years ago. And at such low level, tactical level, what you can do? Even if you know that some squad or section or even
it's
platoon,
moving there and there and so on.
It's nothing. Actually, it's much more not about the content of the messages or information in that channel, but actually of sources of actually people who or which unit is sending this information. And that is actually very important, but to get that information, you need time again. So imagine it's thousands of gigabytes of information. Potentially, let's say that all of the content is monitored by Russian intelligence services, even though you
How
have...
many people? Well, okay. Do you mean that how many people have to sit on the other end to analyze the whole information?
It's not people. I'm talking about
Systems,
maybe
computers,
tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of computers.
Okay.
Now analyzing, siphoning, and gathering, and all those things.
Makes sense. Okay, because what I see as, you know, a non-military having an advantage intelligence-wise, Russia should have been finishing with Ukraine by now, shouldn't they?
Yes, of course. That's why I explained it's not the game changer. You can just look other way, and the Ukrainians also monitor Russian Telegram channels. I mean, Russians and Russian forces, they are using Telegram channels as well, and they put their information, and some of that information even have geotags. So that's another thing that it's very important to understand, that even if I have a whatever means of communication, and even if I know that you control or monitor that channel, I can use codes and code names.
Well, you can use it for disinformation.
And I can, exactly what I'm trying to say, you can use it specifically for disinformation.
Brilliant. Then there's my next question. How in general would you evaluate Telegram right now? And is it more of a help now to Ukrainians? Or after the story with Pavel Durov, they should seriously reconsider the risks of using this application?
I can assure you, Ukrainian side as well as the Russian side, they knew that all those, things that we're discussing here, all the caveats of Telegram program, and knowing those caveats, they still use them, and it will continue to be used. There is not so much difference because, when we talk about secret Telegram channels that are actually public or open to anyone, information in those channels actually, in most cases, is produced specifically for the target audiences, what we call information operations.
Informational bubble. Let's
exactly. And this is not some kind of, secret intelligent information or kind of, some private, very narrow communication channel. No. It's specifically designed that you and I and maybe other people go to Telegram, find that channel, and they believe that what they are reading is secret.
Okay, brilliant, interesting. So, okay, my last question then. In one of your recent posts, you have stated that Telegram has become an ideal tool for Russia and other countries to conduct informational and psychological operations. So could you please shed more light on this one in specific, and what kind of psychological operation did you mean?
All kinds of information operations, including propaganda or psychological operations. The only difference between propaganda and psychological operations is that psychological operations are conducted by our side, and friendly side, and propaganda from enemy side. So when we talk about whatever, counteroffensive, tactical moves, whatever you just imagine, and you find that in that Telegram program on the channels, you have to have in mind that this potential is produced with one goal: to influence you psychologically. So it's very important for both sides to influence the reader, not just their soldiers, not the or enemy soldiers, but also general public, because all society is very important. Not so much maybe in Russian Federation, but in Ukraine or in the West, it's very important because we live in such circumstances or in such countries that people who believe something, they can have very, very big influence on decision makers. And psychological operation is to make that society to push their leaders to do something, like, for example, support to Ukraine.
Okay, well, I guess, I have no more questions, and I really thank you for joining us today, and I really hope to see you once again.
Thank you so much.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was a former Special Operations Forces officer and defense and security expert, Aurimas Navys. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.